Hey, welcome back to the channel. I've been waiting about 5 months for this picture session, and when you understand, when you see what I'm doing here, you understand why. Because I've had this car for, going on a year and a half now. I've had this car for over a year, and I've had this car for 5 months. So I can get a proper shot of red, white, and blue. It's a recurring theme with my cars, or red and black. But you see this car. I tried with the red Celica to kind of replicate this, originally with the white Celica. Have these red and graphite wheels, red calipers, obviously blue, red, white, and blue on the engine cover. I had custom done, and of course two-tone blue and chrome interior. So it's kind of an in-your-face car. I don't think this is too subtle. I don't think it's overdone, but I don't think it's very subtle either. And it's just about right. I didn't go for any spoilers. I didn't get a Z51. It's a LT3. Pretty much everything else but the Z51 package. If I would have known I could have gotten a spoiler delete on it, I would have done that. I just like the look of this without the spoiler. I just think it's a little more stealthy. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, the rule was put spoilers on everything when they didn't need it. Now I know there's a need for them on Corvettes, but if you can get away with it, it's kind of a unusual car that you won't see a lot of. It doesn't have the front splitter, and I get some compliments about that. It shows that it's kind of like it's a loaded up car, that it's not a Z51, and I just like the looks of it. I just like the cleaner looks. This would have been a car that had a spoiler, has a spoiler, and the other one. When I got this, I didn't really have a choice to order this. Of course, I was 29 years old when I bought it, but beautifully, if modestly equipped. This is a Celica GT, and this thing has hubcaps, 4-wheel disc brakes, or is that drums on the back? I forget what this one. I think they're discs on the back, but they're not analogs. But this thing's cloth upholstery, 5-speed, and a couple convenience things, power antenna, spoiler on it. And this spoiler was nice. It was integrated. It wasn't really a tacked on kind of thing. I think they always did their spoilers kind of nice on this era of Toyota. Most Japanese cars, they really weren't going crazy with the factory stuff on there. And then this was a step up. So if you look at these side by side, if you can see, this is a Celica GTS. This is I described this yesterday as a unicorn. It's a unicorn because it's the wide body. It's the same engine as this. Actually, it's the older version. This is a 1990, so this 1993 has a newer version that was in the Camrys, a 2.2 liter. This thing's a little bit quicker, even as a GT, than this. You can just feel the difference. Plus, this has half the miles that this does. This is really well maintained, really updated. It wasn't abused or anything like that, but this car is just a little bit quicker. But then this car has the wide fenders, so you can see the wide fenders in comparison to this are not as wide. So these are unique fenders, or actually these are the rare fenders, because only the GTSs and the Alltracks had these in the US. The front fenders are totally unique to it, wider. But this car now, I had black with red stripe wheels, kind of mimicking what's on the Corvette. The problem is they just didn't look right. These are wider wheels than this, but you can't really tell because this is a less wide car than this. So I had these restored, and you can really see in the sun. It rained on it last night, but my goodness, the work the shop did was amazing. It's brand new rubber on it too, Z-rated rubber, factory sized, and you know, this has pretty much everything. It has the power sunroof, the leather seats, gonna have the leather seats taken care of, so they're a little less noticeable on the cracking there, because they are pretty solid seats. They just don't, you know, they don't look as good as they can, so we're going to go that route. Of course, this has the 5-speed. This has the 220-watt sound system. There is an amplifier. I said it was a subwoofer in the other video, but it's an amplifier under the seat. These are the bigger speakers. This is a, let's see if I got it, System 10 system. And this was like, oh gosh, forget how much money this was. It's like $1,000 in 1990 money. So, but this is an early car. This is 1990, and you'll see that it had the Toyota logo there. They didn't have the script. They introduced it, I think, that year, but they didn't start putting it on cars. And so when you go across here, you see the how curvy it is, has the fog lights integrated on here. So we'll go right over here. This was the refresh done in 1992 and for 1993. This is a GT. GTS had a little bit more of this version of the lower grille here, and it was a few more lines across it. But you can see the big difference was they changed this and they put the Toyota corporate logo there. This is my AACA plaque for the junior is the plaque, the senior is that. And then if it gets its Grand National here next June, it'll get another plaque on there. Kind of an interesting experience with that. A lot of fun. But I drive this car, I just don't drive it a lot these days. I haven't really driven it much since April, since I took it down to Charlotte, put 1,000 miles on it. That was fun. This one is gonna be at Hershey. This started its show life at Hershey last fall at the big show in the fall in October at the AACA grounds in Hershey Park. It won its first junior. I took it down to Charlotte, North Carolina. It got its senior, and there's not a Grand National until next June. So I will be there in Dayton, Ohio. This, we'll see how it does. I have a little under hood magic to work, a little cleanup and everything. I'm gonna have a paint correction done on it, and I have a couple door dings on it, and I'm gonna have those done before I have the paint correction done. I've refinished the front bumper, refinished the wheels. I've totally detailed the interior. It's really a nice, solid, original, beautifully maintained car. You know, the hatch area, all that stuff, there's nothing missing. There's nothing that you're like, oh, that's embarrassing. Those seats get addressed, which I've seen, you know, what they can do with those. I think it's gonna really present nicely. So I like the fact that this is going to be my next car, trying to see what this one did. And then this one, well, this one is just, I hate to say just a driver, but this one's going to be out in Carlisle at the end of August. Today is August 2nd? 3rd? 2nd. It's August 2nd, and it's Friday, and we are going to be out there, my son and I, on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And so we're going to be enjoying ourselves. We'll be in the parade the night of the 24th. Then the 25th, he and I are going to drive down to Washington, D.C., where my daughter will be in her first week of college and celebrate her 18th birthday, so on the 25th. So I always wanted to do, like, it's kind of neat, red, white, and blue. And so, you know, I think the cheaper route would be getting a blue Celica, but they're kind of harder to find. Cheaper, but harder to find. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of show you the gathering of my sports car, my sporty cars. I'm kind of reluctant to call these sports cars, but they're sporty cars. They're kind of a car that doesn't even exist in the world anymore. or if they do, they're very, very limited. But you know, you could get anything, and like Toyota was one of the innovators in this. You know, they kind of did a smaller version of a Mustang, and then of course, you know, Ford had the brilliant idea, and it was a brilliant idea, to make the Mustang 2, and that was kind of, those two were kind of the prototypes. And there's all little, you know, for a smaller, sportier, fun car that was more economical. And then they went, you know, in 86, those were rear drive cars. They went to front drive with the Celica in 86, and then this was the reskin of it. And then I think, you know, to me, this is a 5th gen. These are both 5th gen Celicas. I think they really had their, you know, they had their formula down with these. I think they're good looking cars. You could drive this as an everyday car. Seats fold down, especially with the lift back. It's a very useful car. And they're good looking cars. They're reliable cars. And as I said before, that's the reason a lot of these do not survive in any numbers. There's also a thing called rust. Up here in the great salty north, you know, these would have issues. They would get salted and just absolutely destroyed underneath. They would probably have 300,000-400,000 miles on that by that time, but they were not saved. And so finding one of these, or two of these, I was happy to find this. And then I'd always wanted one of these, and when this came about, I knew I had to get it, and I was not going to get rid of this. So red, white, and blue. I'm not getting rid of any of these cars. These are fun cars. I feel less guilty not driving this car as much to keep the miles down on it when I can drive this one. And it's really sorted now. But you get in this thing and it feels like a totally different car. And it sounds silly, but the shifter is less crisp, but it's actually more fun in some ways. And when you you know, when you drive these back to back, which I did yesterday and today, it's noticeable. It's kind of fun. And one of my friends said he really likes this because it's more representative of what more people would have bought a Celica for. And I think he's right. I mean, this was the Halo car. This was the brochure car, but this was an expensive car. So, you know, in 90, this was probably 23, 24,000. This was probably 17 or 16,000. So it's a lot of money difference, you know, today, but back then especially. So, you know, there were more of these that rolled out, and, you know, they're both special cars, but, you know, it's like when you go to a car show and everyone has a GTO Judge. I'm like, well, not everyone had a GTO Judge. They might have a Tempest, Le Mans, you know, like more pedestrian cars. This goes towards that side, where this went towards the tick all the boxes. And I'm very happy to have them. Very happy to have that. But you know, I just wanted to show you, I have very eclectic taste in cars. It's kind of a truck-free week after doing 2,000 plus miles in my 4Runner. It's out in my property on Jeanette because I could only bring one back, and I picked this up from the thing, and so on and so forth. Logistics with cars is the main reason I am doing what I'm doing out there with the garage. And so anyway, just wanted you to see my red, white, and blue crew here, and I've only been waiting 5 months to get this shot, so thanks for watching.